Hello, hello. I say goodbye, I say hello. Second screen mode, what's that? Oh shit. Shit. Ugh. Live mode. Neither. Come on, come on, come on, come on, don't touch me.
That's like being a spy. That's legitimate. But for her, just to sell out for Russia for money, it's just kind of like pathetic a little bit, right? You know, and when the time comes and these people are arrested, I assume that's coming. It has to be coming.
For Lauren Chen and her husband,
Yeah.
I would imagine there are indictments on the way for them.
Yep.
Unfortunately, for all of the commenters, I don't think so.
I don't think they should though.
I mean, it depends on
If
what
they
the
know,
conversations
but
look like.
So, based on the indictment that dropped so far, there was nothing in there that indicated that they specifically knew. They're like, okay, well,
No,
I
yeah,
guess,
in these indictments, that's true. Yeah.
yeah. But if something more came, then absolutely. So, I wonder if when these people are like, you know, it's never going to happen, but like when they get arrested for treason, they're like, huh, I never would have thought I was going to be a chick arrested for treason. That's kind of wacky. That's me though, selling my country downstream for $1 million.
And it's just so I don't understand. I don't know. Like they were doing fine. Like why? It's got to be an ideology thing. What is it, mice or whatever? Money, ideology. C was something, and then E was something. I forget.
Was it?
Yeah, there's like 4 things. It's like the 4 letters, the acronym for why people sell out their country or whatever.
Well, money, power. I said money was
Oh no,
one.
money, influence, compromise, ego. Those 4.
Yeah, wouldn't one be like you're not respected by your peers? So like someone comes to you and you're like, you know what, we really value your work. And you're like, yeah, that's right. I am the best StarCraft 2 player. F these guys. And
That
then,
might be the ego one, maybe?
that could be interesting.
Oh, it is ideology.
Okay. Let's read this statement by Timothy Cast. Would you like to read it? Or
I
can
do want to. My statement regarding allegations in the DOJ indictment. Should these allegations prove true, I, as well as the other personalities and commentators, were deceived and are victims. I cannot speak for anyone else at the company as to what they do or to what they are instructed. The Culture War podcast was licensed by Tenet Media. It existed well before any license agreement with Tenet, and it will continue to exist after any such agreement expires. The only change with the agreement was that the location of the live broadcast moved to Tenet's YouTube channel. I and the Culture War podcast never produced any content for Tenet Media. Never at any point did anyone other than I have full editorial control of the show, and the contents of the show are often apolitical. Examples include discussing spirituality, dating, and video games. Yeah, 3 very not political subjects right now. The show is produced in its entirety by our local team without input from anyone external to the company. The Culture War is a separate company not associated with timcast.com or other properties. It exists solely for the production of the Culture War podcast. That being said, we still do not know what is true, as these are only allegations. Putin is a scumbag, Russia sucks donkey balls, and to the journalists who wish to jump the gun, create their own narrative, or lie about what is currently going on, you can eat my Irish ass. I like how he's Irish now. Before he was very Was it Korean? What does he have? He talked about how when he grew up, he was bullied for being Asian.
What? Really?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know.
Somebody
that.
linked the video.
Okay.
Somebody linked the video in chat about his Asian experience, I mean, Asian American experience growing up. Please.
How much do you think Tim Pool makes?
Maybe 8 figures. He's very, very, very wealthy. That guy's show, he's huge outreach.
So maybe 10 million a year.
Maybe.
Maybe, but definitely
Clear is over a mil, easy. Probably like, my guess would be somewhere, like just off the top of my head, my guess would be somewhere in the 3 to 8 million range. It depends. I don't know how much those supplement sponsors
You don't know.
should pay.
You don't know how many. Dude, they pay a lot. You see how much money fucking Alex Jones was making?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It could be, yeah. It could be like in the 8-figure range.
It could be fucking what? How the fuck are there that many stupid people? That's what I don't understand. Alex Jones was selling like hundreds of millions of dollars of this shit. Like, it's crazy. Of like nothing. Of just like
My guess for like those types of things are it's probably a fuck ton of markup, and it's the marginal cost, and the R&D is non-existent. Like to make
Well,
one
no,
of those
it-
fucking pills, it probably costs like 2 cents.
There-
And
there's
people
nothing.
pay $35 for
The whole-
Vitality male vitamins.
yeah, the whole thing is like the shipping in the fucking pill container.
The
costs-
capsules themselves are probably more than the
exactly.
ingredients inside, yeah.
Well, it's like the homeopathy shit, right? It's like it's got a.
Well, homeopathy could be real sometimes, maybe.
Why do you do this? Why do you do this? Why? No, it can never be real. I swear to God, I will fucking burn every. Don't you hate Dr. K now that he's wearing a fucking Palestine flag apparently on his fucking thing? Is that not enough for you to burn you over? Bring you over. Anyways, all right. Well, Timmy, I'm sorry that this is happening to you. Elon may have tweeted something cringe. No, this is not the correct one. Elon. What a loser. Imagine not having Elon Musk.
Oh, let's see what AI-generated misinformation the owner of Twitter is tweeting today.
Hey, but this is interesting. So the Elon account, Twitter, Elon allows this to exist, and it's an anti-Elon account. That's kind of fucking wild, no?
That's called controlled opposition.
You think?
I have no idea, actually.
I don't either. All right, there he is, Captain Suck himself. What's he bitching about? Oh, 1 minute ago. Can't be that. 6 minutes ago.
I don't think he doesn't run this guy. 0 chance. 0% chance. He might like have, sometimes he might do it.
No, I think he's a retard. He probably runs it. I
You think he tweeted 3 times in the last, or 5 times in the last
Yes.
10 minutes?
So, here's the thing. I thought about this. Did I say this last show? I don't care. I'll say it again. I don't
Say
care.
it again. Do it.
If I had $50 billion,
Yeah?
I would not buy Twitter. Really. I would become a James Bond villain and buy a fucking mountain and hollow it out and have like a team of 300 people there working on, it doesn't even matter. You know what I mean? Like sharks with lasers, literally. Like that could be your life. You could be that fucking guy with $50 billion. But this retard bought on Twitter.
That's fucking wild.
It is. What would you do with $50 billion? Would you become a James Bond villain? Cool. Sick. Awesome.
Roll the Dan clip about being Batman if he was rich.
Or
What?
would you buy Twitter?
I would be the Batman guy, for sure.
I would be the
Tony
I would be the
Stark.
Batman guy too. I would be the Batman guy.
Tony Stark built a social media network with a box of APIs and some old IRC blogs, okay? And you can't even
Some
make...
old IRC servers
Yeah.
is what you'd have to say.
You can't even make
some
a-
486s.
Yeah. Way back in the
He
day.
strung them together and then
Tony Stark
He
was using
put on the turbo
he was
button?
using a number 2 pencil to draw lanes on PCBs, and you guys can't even make a functional social media platform. What's going on out here?
all these new frogs, they don't know about the turbo button on your PC. Do you even know about the turbo button?
I don't know about this.
Yeah, the
What's a turbo
486s used to have a turbo button, and you would normally run it with turbo on, obviously. Okay, that gives you the extra megahertz. But sometimes you would get that game, okay, and the game wouldn't run correct because the
come
clock
from?
cycles were going too fast, and you would have to turn off the turbo to run that button. And that's why the turbo button was there on the older
Sounds
PCs.
wild. Furtive in chat found the link.
Okay. Of what?
Just go. Furtive, he's got it. Scroll up.
Okay.
Yep, scroll up. No, more. Furtive.
The ACLU, when they supported affirmative action at Harvard, which lumps all Asians, Indian, Chinese, Laotians into one category, and I find that offensive as an Asian person. And so when
I also find that offensive.
Doesn't he? Now, I feel like there's another video where he's talking about discrimination that he experienced as an Asian person, like more than this. But
I don't know about David Pakman's angle here.
I
I'm gonna
like
be-
it.
I'm
He
gonna
looks
be
superior. Like, look, this is like the quivering crying child, like they're looking below, and now this is like David Pakman, brave-based, like ready to plant.
No, this is like the "I showed you my penis, please respond"
no
meme.
Oh my god, he has my exact same mic and my shock mount. That's crazy. Good job, David. But anyway, yeah.
That's another guy, by the way. If you're adding to the list of the people from there, from that town, David Pakman, Vito, Mr. Girl,
Oh wait, we're talking to him soon, aren't we?
yeah,
In a week?
or something. All right, so as an Asian or a Jew, you could say, because they were also discriminated against.
Really? Were they?
I mean, I don't know. Do you really want to go to Harvard if it's just a bunch of Chens and Sheckelsteins there?
Yeah, I would actually.
You do. You
Yeah,
want to be
I
the
wouldn't even think twice about
You
it.
would be like, "Hi, I'm Stephen Bonnell," and they'd be like, "Oh, you're the affirmative action hire, I see." That's what they would look at you and say that
That would be.
and think that.
That's what my Cuban heritage is for. To grab those affirmative action hires.
Do you claim that you're Latino to try and, if you were trying to get into college right now, would you say you were Latino?
Absolutely. You don't think I didn't have a Latino sponsorship or not sponsorship, scholarships, financial aid and shit at UNO? Absolutely.
Really?
It was like $1,000 or something, but yeah, it was better than nothing. Hell yeah.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
You
Usually
are-
you have to write like some bullshit essay about your experience growing up or whatever, and then it's like the freebies.
You use the word Latinx.
I would never use the word Latinx.
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 Like
yeah.
Kleenex?
Something. It's cringe.
Do you think it's pronounced like Kleenex or Latin X?
I think it's Latinx.
Kleenex. Latinx.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a good ring to it.
Okay. Latinx. My bad.
That's like a word that we made for Hispanic people, and somehow that was okay for us to do that. It's kind of
Well, they
kind of
didn't
interesting.
understand how oppressed they were being by their own language, and then we, as white gods, gifted them.
Oh my god!
Actually,
Get the fuck out!
yeah,
Yes,
we, the royal we, the Cuban.
I agree.
There's all this shit everywhere.
A progressive with blue hair walked up to the river of Latinos, and then they drank the potion like in Prometheus, and their body dissolved, and Latinx dispersed into all.
Fuck!
That is how we do. Okay, all right. Well,
Wait, have you heard of the movie Alien Romulus?
is that the new one?
That's the new one.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Have you?
No, it's supposed to be good though.
Okay.
Christ.
Well, you know, ooh, man, you know, we could have a whole movie thing that we do.
Yeah.
I didn't think Prometheus was bad.
Okay.
I knew that was gonna hurt you when I said that.
Yes.
It's okay. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
What is it specifically that you hated about the movie?
Hey, if you want to see the full episode of this, go to patreon.com/anything else for great content like this and more.
Yeah, you're missing 2 hours, dumbass.
Maybe.
This is only 1 hour. There's 2
I'm
hours.
terrible.
We have no idea how many hours.
All right.
It's hard to just
I would have
name
paid
one
for
thing.
2 of this
But I can
coffee.
start on a few. The performances were
I wouldn't. Oh god.
Which performance was?
What is this? I can't
all of
fucking
them,
see anything.
Really?
including Fassbender is his name.
Yeah.
You don't get points for acting like, wow, he did so good acting like an unemotional robot. That was so crazy, bro. Stupid. All the performances were cringeworthy as fuck. The story was stupid and boring. They cut out what could have been the most exciting stuff, like on the fucking script.
What did you not like about the story?
It was boring and stupid.
So you had this rich billionaire, Elon Musk, who had kind of created AI a little bit, and in doing so created like his AI sex robot, and they had found a planet, and they were going there to try and do something, and it turns out that this planet, like, is not interested and is going to kill him. Aliens.
Yeah?
Is that? What do you?
Wait, what do you... What?
What do you? I'm trying to piece together because it's been a minute and I'm 2 drinks in. Okay,
Fuck,
Prometheus, billionaire dude. Yes.
Yes.
Say here with me so far.
No, okay. You're mainly right. Mainly correct.
Okay.
Billionaire guy travels secretly to some planet because they think they found like I don't know how they know it's like the creator aliens. Maybe because they found the hieroglyphics that pointed them to the family or to the planet or whatever of the people that created humans supposedly. Then when they get there, Michael wheels out the Wayland guy who's still alive so they can talk to the creator to figure out the key to immortality.
Yeah.
And the guy gets mad and kills him.
Just smashes him.
Yeah.
That guy is probably got a monster.
The Prometheus guy?
Yeah.
Absolutely huge.
Oh my god. Well, actually, do you think? Probably does. Yeah.
You want to know what was really interesting?
Yeah.
The engineer So when they were writing the script for this movie, in the original script, the engineer guy he went on a huge diatribe about why humankind like wasn't worth existing and wasn't worth saving, why they wanted to destroy it. And he goes on to talk about how they'd abducted a human, and then they trained him in the ways of like being a perfect person. They sent him back to the planet, and then we crucified him. So Jesus was a Prometheus alien. I thought it was really interesting. But they fleshed out the engineers and their relationship with people, like to mankind, like way more. But then they ended up cutting all of that from the script, and instead he's just some like edgy bald dude who rips the android in half and it kills everybody. Like a loser. I think that would have made it a little bit more interesting. But the main problem with the movie is just it's a incoherent, like garbled jumble of mess of bullshit. Like all of them walking inside and finding the aliens and the people like the flamethrowers and the zombies and all of it is just cringe, and the plot doesn't like reinforce itself well. I don't know how to describe it. There's like a lot of unnecessary like bullshit and garbage that doesn't need to be there.
It's a two-parter, right? Or there's a prequel or a sequel or something?
Well, Prometheus is technically the prequel to the movie Alien.
No, there's another.
They made more. There was like Alien Covenant, which is the one after, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was also cringe.
That was cringe.
Because the lady starts the movie off dead, and it's just like stupid.
Interesting.
God, those were both horrible movies. Oh my god.
Is there any good movies?
Alien Romulus was supposed to be good. I haven't seen it yet though.
Yeah, well, we don't know.
Oh my god, I watched the Napoleon movie.
Yeah, I've seen that.
But I also, oh, you watched Napoleon?
Yeah.
That might be one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
This is
in my life.
garbage ass
Wow, that was Ridley Scott as well. Prometheus.
movies. Shit.
That was
what
an
are we
actual
talking
horrible
about?
movie.
With that
Fellas.
sound, President Trump went.
I'd say about as expected. I think it's what most people expected it to be as. Yeah. I
I
will
don't
say, I
think
really
I'll
wish
watch
more
this
people would
shit.
just transcribe.
Thank you for
the
watching here in the
fucking,
U.S. and all over the world, and from all of us here.
Where's the fucking... Where's the debate? Playlists. What?
Thank you for watching here in the U.S. and all over the world, and from all of us.
Presidential debates.
Made up stuff in the book. You don't have to make up stuff here.
Stuff have I made up in the book?
I love being wrong. Well, you said that everybody who doesn't agree with me I consider to be an uneducated bigot, whereas the book you're actually referring to when you say that is full of explanations.
I read your Twitter feed.
Well, my Twitter feed, honestly, mate.
Every day.
Life's too short.
And it's not even like there's probably not even I was a complete and total crazy person trying to do historical revising of World War II. But here's what actually happened, right? Like, why is Dave Smith the slimy fuck that should be the... Oh, why is he a slimy fuck? I don't know. He either enjoys being a contrarian, like he likes taking the opposite position against the woke mob and the losers or something, like what he perceives to be the woke mob, or he's...
Tomorrow night we'll find out if the American people are buying into her. Well, joining me to debate is the streamer Destiny, Javier DeRusso from Preview
Oh,
News,
shit.
host of Emily Saves America, Emily Wilson. I'd like to welcome Jill Stein, who's campaigning for the third time as the Green Party's candidate for president. Well, welcome to all of you. Let me start with you, Destiny,
What am I
if I can.
missing?
The honeymoon
Armor
was
crates.
on fire for Kamala Harris. The coronation happened. The DNC convention happened. It was all going swimmingly. And you would have expected the polls to reflect this glorious few weeks of the anointment of Kamala Harris as the joyous, brave new way forward to save America. And yet the latest New York Times poll of likely voters nationally
Jesus
has
Christ.
Trump ahead of Kamala Harris. How can that be?
I mean, we've still got a lot of work to do, and I mean, the polls are all over the place. This is a historic environment for a political election. You know, who knows where the polls are going to be a week or two from now. Everything is still changing. Yeah.
How important do you think tomorrow night's debate could be? I mean, the last debate ended the political career of Joe Biden. It precipitated the events that led to him quitting the race. Could this determine tomorrow night 90 minutes of Trump v. Harris live in front of the American people and the watching world? Could it trigger effectively the end of this race?
feel like debates aren't really important until they
fuck
are.
is hitting?
Historically, debates haven't seemed to move the needle too much when it comes to favorability or desire to vote for a particular candidate. But I mean, obviously, in the last debate, because people had a perception about Joe Biden that seemed to be true, after watching the debate, that shifted the needle significantly. So, I mean, it's hard to say. It could be that tomorrow both of them do their thing. You know, Kamala gives her sassy pushback, Trump gives his normal, meandering, stupid, brainless answers, and nobody really cares much about what happens because everything goes as expected. So, or it could be that one of them has a huge, step out moment, that one of them loses their cool, and maybe that moves the needle a lot. It's really hard to say. I think making predictions in this election at this point is pretty much impossible.
Well, on that, I completely agree with you. Javier, you reposted on X. Day one of the Black Voters for Trump tour was a massive success. The next time the left tells you MAGA is nothing more than a bunch of old white guys, shows them this picture, the next generation of Black America will destroy the Democrat Party.
What?
And you said about
What
Kamala
happened?
Harris in August, a woman who's confident in what
What
she
the
stands
fuck
for
happened to me?
would be able to not only handle but address and overcome the criticism. Kamala Harris doesn't have that same resilience. Not even the left will respect her after about a year, once the honeymoon of electing a black woman wears off. I mean, strong words there, but what is interesting to me is how Trump's support amongst black Americans has been consistently increasing in the last year. And you've seen it being eroded from the Democrats, which is almost unprecedented, really, in modern times.
Eroded.
Why do you think that is happening?
I have no idea.
Well, it's largely happening because we're tired of being lied to. I mean, for how much longer can we have the Democrats telling us over and over that they are going to do all these great promises for us just to not follow through with anything? I mean, just look at the way back in 2020, Joe Biden went and acted like he was going to be the biggest spokesperson for BLM. Then the second he got into office, he had nothing to do with the black community anymore. We have seen these lies play out time and time again, and it's exhausting.
Time and time
We
again.
see the way that our economy is in shambles. We see the way that our border is wide open. We see all these pressing issues that are
The hell
not
is
being
happening
addressed
over
properly
there?
by the
Jesus.
Democratic Party. And at this point, it's like, what do black men have to lose? Why would we continue to go the same way that is clearly not working for us? Why don't we try something different and get away from the Democratic Party? And that's why more eyes are beginning to open up, because for far too long, we were told we weren't even allowed to consider conservative views or conservative policies. We were called coons and Uncle Toms and all these different slurs. And why is that? Because they wanted to take away our power. They wanted to take away our power to think for ourselves and to go out and seek the truth. And that's why so many more black men are starting to go for Donald Trump, because we ultimately want a better future for ourselves and for our next generations.
I mean, Jill Stein, it's been the presidential race this year where absolutely nothing could be predicted. It's been a
out of bullets?
rollercoaster
Seriously?
ride, the like of which we've never seen. This debate could be enormously transformative in the way the last one was. What do you think Kamala Harris needs to do to try and defeat Donald Trump tomorrow?
I think it's highly unlikely that this debate is going to capture the spirit of the American people. I think we're seeing the two parties basically fail.
Not answer the question.
Well, I think we are seeing the two parties fail to address the healthcare crisis, to address the housing crisis, where 50% of all Americans are basically 1 or 2 paychecks away from eviction, can't afford their rent. 63% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And yet we are spending half of our congressional budget on the endless war machine. And by the way, the vast majority of Americans want an end to the genocide going on in Gaza, and yet, as well as a weapons embargo to make that happen. Yet we are not seeing the two major candidates actually address either of these crises, and there's basically an unwritten agreement that we will not address the basically the dominance of Wall Street and the war machine over our economy, over
what are
our
you talking
lives.
about,
The voters have
bitch?
basically been thrown under the bus. So it's no wonder that both candidates, I think, what you see largely are people voting against the candidate that they hate the most instead of for the candidate that they want. And I'll just say that my campaign will be doing an after commentary, also addressing the same issues brought up in the election, but from a very different point of view that actually addresses the crises that Americans are facing in every dimension of our lives.
If so, the majority of Americans shared your view, why would the Green Party not be doing a lot better in the polling?
Well, for one thing, we're not covered by mainstream media, with the exception of, a few minutes here today, and thank you so much for that.
Of course.
But we are systematically suppressed, and let me just say that the Democrats have pulled out all the stops in order to throw us off the ballot. They have their army of lawyers in order to not just deny third parties, but to deny voters what voters have actually been vehemently clamoring for. At record numbers, 63% of Americans are now saying they need other choices, and in this election, so the American voters really want other choices here. Those are being denied. The Democrats have also publicly advertised for infiltrators and spies in order to disrupt our ballot drives, and this is their strategy. They do not want to face us in the court of public opinion, keep us out of debates, keep us out of press coverage, fear campaign and smear campaign against us, so that they can simply eliminate their competition. They are quaking in their boots. They have also hijacked public funding, which we qualified for in order to prevent us from getting on the ballot. However, we are largely prevailing in spite of their army of lawyers and the rest, and we will be on the ballot for about 95% of voters. We will be the only anti-genocide, anti-war, climate emergency, pro-worker campaign that is on the ballot across the country, with a potential pathway as far as you want to go. And this is what voters are clamoring for, and this is what the debate should actually be about.
How do you feel about Kamala Harris's U-turn on fracking?
39.
Well, she's done a lot of U-turns. I mean, this is to be expected. She puts her fingers to the wind, and basically, she's done a U-turn on immigration. She's pulling back on the tax, the increase in the capital gains tax, which Biden had promised. And this is typical of the Democrats. They went into the last election saying they were going to fight for a $15 minimum wage. They wouldn't even bring that to a vote. That they would stand for workers, yet they basically forced the railroad workers to accept a contract that they had already rejected, which created very dangerous working conditions, which laid the groundwork for the catastrophe in East Palestine. They long ago, Barack Obama was talking about the public option as an alternative so that people could actually afford their health care instead of this crisis that we continue to have to this day. Yet where was it? The public option disappeared. The supposed bulk purchasing for pharmaceuticals that would bring down that price. Well, that became 10 pharmaceuticals by 2026, where the price would be reduced. So, what we hear from the Democrats basically is a lot of lip service. From the Republicans, we really don't hear much at all. They don't even make promises. But Democrats make promises and then break them, which is basically, driving people into the arms of Donald Trump. The most spoiled elections that the Democrats ever had was 2010, following the Wall Street bailouts. While millions of homeowners got thrown out, there was the Democratic trifecta, basically bailing out Wall Street and throwing working people under the bus. That is why people are moving to the right. That is why people are so hungry for other options. As you were saying in your previous segment, what we must have is a debate. If we can't actually have a debate in our elections, when are we going to have a real debate? And you don't get that from two parties that are bought and paid for by the same, very powerful economic interests, by the war machine, by Wall Street, by AIPAC, etc.
I don't disagree with you. Emily Wilson, just want to talk about something. You posted on video on X saying morally superior liberals are like, I would never vote for a felon, Trump, but here's our statue of George Floyd. Another video you said about women. I'm sorry, I'm so tired of the tens of thousands online saying, I'm going to vote for her, Kamala Harris, because he's going to strip away all our rights. What rights? He was already president. What rights did you lose? Zero. He's trying to protect women's rights. Now, there'll be lots of women on the left who will say he's trying to destroy women's rights, and that the whole abandonment of Roe versus Wade after he packed the Supreme Court with conservative judges was specifically designed to remove women's rights. What do you say to that?
Oh boy. Yeah, no, those two videos I got a lot of feedback on. No, when I specifically ask what rights were taken away under Trump, I mean, they can't say. I don't think any of those women's rights were taken away under Trump. And now that he's not, agreed to not do the nationwide abortion ban, and now that he's moving forward with wanting to protect IVF, it's just one of those things they continue to say because, frankly, they have nothing else to say. And then, obviously, these are the same women that are single voter issues. They only care about aborting children. And then when it comes to protecting women by keeping men out of sports, out of our spaces, and dangerous men out of our country, they're completely silent on. So they don't actually care about women's rights or protecting them. Once again, they don't know what a woman is, so it wouldn't matter either way. And yeah, I just think it's funny that the morally superior liberals are so quick to be like, Trump's a felon, he's a bad guy, and all these things. Yet, you know, and they're like, no, felons should be able to vote and do all these things. They're like, unless it's Donald Trump. But George Floyd was apparently an amazing person, so.
Well, George Floyd was brutally murdered by a police officer who was convicted of brutally murdering him, and unfortunately we saw it all on a cell phone. Otherwise, it would have probably never been reported. I can see you shaking your head there, Destiny. Do you want to say
this
something?
happens all the time. Whenever you debate conservatives, I mean, it's happened here. I've seen it happen in other places. It'll be like, here's the standards for, Republican lawmakers, and then they'll point to like people on Twitter on the other side. Like, well, what about that person? Well, I don't remember voting for George Floyd for president or nominating him for president. The idea that that's your basis of comparison, like, oh, you've got a problem with Donald Trump. Well, what about George Floyd? It's just such a hilariously telling, I think, example.
Well, let me ask you a difficult question.
Well, he was also a criminal that overdosed, but that's another situation.
That still doesn't get him any closer to being nominated for president of the Democratic Party. I don't understand what the comparison is for.
It's just funny to have different standards. You're like, this is fine, but this isn't fine. That's the whole point of that. You don't need to read that deeply into it. It's not that big of a deal.
It's funny to have different. Do you have different standards for different people? Isn't that the point, to have different standards for different people? Like.
Yeah.
The point is
I know,
more
once again, that's a joke. It goes far over
George Floyd.
liberals'
They
heads.
put him on murals. They have tattoos. People have tattoos of George Floyd. They uplift him as this amazing, heroic individual. And the point that she's making is less about George Floyd being president. It's the way that they degrade Donald Trump. Because yes, it is not a glorious thing that we have a presidential candidate who has felonies on his hands, but what is more her point that she's making here is that they are degrading him, making it seem like he's this awful person, like he is the worst person to ever walk this earth. But then George Floyd, who has this terrible rap sheet, he is uplifted to the heavens by the left. So it's not about him being president.
Well, let's not.
It's just so stupid. I'm sorry. I love my mom to death. She's one of the best people in the world. She would make a horrible president. Okay, if my mom was auditioning to be my mom, I would be #1 her supporter. If my mom was auditioning for president, I'd be her biggest hater on the internet. Like, obviously, you have different standards for different people. This is such an insane point. Why would you even try to defend this? At least let her dance away gracefully.
And also, the entire point is the left has different standards for everything except for Donald Trump. That's the whole point. Anything he does is horrible, but if anyone other
well, let's talk about. I tell you what. Let's talk about.
Video.
Let's talk about different standards, because I found it fascinating, Destiny, over the weekend, that out of nowhere, Dick Cheney, who was named Darth Cheney after Darth Vader by Democrats for 20 years, he was to them the evil personification, the villain figure of all conservative ills in America. The guy who took America into the illegal war in Iraq, who trampled over human rights left, right, and center. And yet suddenly he pops up because he doesn't like Donald Trump and says, I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris. And rather than renounce that endorsement with great speed, which is what she should have done if she had any principles, she issued a statement saying, I'm proud to receive Dick Cheney's endorsement. What happened to the 24 years of Dick Cheney's the most, according to Joe Biden in 2008, the most dangerous vice president in the history of the United States, is what he said about Dick Cheney. And here's his own vice president saying how proud she is to get that endorsement. Do you feel a sense of pride?
Endorsements are one way. He endorsed her. I mean, it represents some segment of the Republican Party that's obviously dissatisfied with trying to re-elect a traitor, an insurrectionist.
Would you be proud if Dick Cheney endorsed you?
For running for president, you take any endorsement you can get, of course.
Really?
Just because somebody endorses you.
Whoa.
Really? Why a whoa? East. this? Let's just do there. Guess I'll do that when I'm not fucking streaming. Um, Deviations deal by 1,000 damage to ease. Um, all right. That. As long as be right back. Hey, Boogachoom. Get you, motherfuckers. I guess, I'm gonna get off here. I'll probably be back later tonight. Stopping by. See you again next time.